Hi everyone, this is my new channel, the Slugs and Spuds Growing Plot. I'll be covering things that I do on my allotment and in my garden at home. It'll be like a diary for myself because I'm terrible at keeping track of where I've planted things, where bulbs are that I need to take up in winter, what I've sown seed wise and not labelled very well, or they've all got mixed up or whatever, and also to share tips and things with viewers like yourselves, like-minded people that just love gardening. I'm not an expert, I'm an amateur. I'm not very good at the Latin names. I know some of them, but you know, I just muddle along. But I just wanted to share my garden and my allotment and the things that I do. So it won't, this channel's not for advice as such, although I may give a little bit of amateur advice to beginners. So today I'm just going to start with doing a tour of my back garden, which is, I'm aiming for like a bit of a tropical look, but it's in its very early days. It's not in its best state because I did have a bit of an injury last year, so I did get a little bit behind with things, particularly at the allotment. I didn't go for quite a few months. I had a torn shoulder or something. We have a naughty dog that tries to get other dogs, and anyway, violence out. My name is Karen, by the way. Not something you like to admit these days. I am a Karen, or I am being a Karen. Anyway, I'll show you around. I'll start by the back door. Okay, so this is as I've come out of my back door, and it's just like a little bit of an alleyway. Sorry, I just have to shout at the dog. Cujo, shut up, engine. Okay, so we've just gravelled this area. We've got a little storage bench. We've got little flame lanterns. We've got some fairy lights up there, but they didn't come on last night. We don't have any luck with garden lights. They seem to break within the first or at the very most we get to a second year, and then they break. They all just seem to rust where the wire goes into the bulb. So this is an azalea. It's a yellow and it's a scented one. It smells really strong and lovely in spring. We have an orange one there, a golden eagle. That isn't scented as I remember. I bought that from a great garden centre in Ambleside when we went on holiday, and it was in flower when I bought it, but then last year it didn't flower for me, so I'm going to repot it, I think, and give it a good lot of manure. My rabbits are there. We have a male and a female separated because you don't want too many babies. They're not neutered, so I do let them together sometimes, but they're great contributors to compost, these two, especially Ellie in there. I'll show you another time. I'll not uncover them because it keeps drizzling today, although it's really lovely and warm, which is good after all the cold weather we've had. I'd just like to say I am in the northwest of the UK, so northwest England. So I don't know about my zones and things like that. I don't know what zone that is, but we get a bit of both, cold weather, hot weather. So I've got a bamboo in here. I've just piled a load of bunny poo on there because I was cleaning them out in a rush and I thought, oh, it'll break down. There's a clematis behind there. I'm not sure how it's fared during the winter. I did lose quite a few plants, or I think I have. That is a, what do you call it? Ah, Ceanothus. I've propped it up with some bricks a little bit because it was trying to grow sideways across my gate. Bellflowers, I think that's called. This is Naughty Dog in question. He doesn't get on with other dogs other than his mum, but not his own fault. He got attacked when he was younger and he just thinks everything's after him now. That's his mum, Bronte. Okay. This is my strawberry tree. Now last year I did have flowers on it. I'd replanted it in this position in the summer, and for the first time it did get flowers on it, but I didn't get any fruit. But I think it flowered a little bit too late, because it seemed to flower just after there's one at Chester Zoo, a great big huge one that had loads of fruit on it, and at that time then this got flowers on this one. So I'm hoping it'll settle into flowering at the right time and give me some fruits, because I would have thought at this size it would get some by now. And here I had a star jasmine that had been alright for a year or two, but last winter I think has killed it off. I have put in there I think there's tree lilies. In this pot here there was a star jasmine. It was in there for a year or two and was absolutely fine, but last winter I think it's killed it off. But I'm going to give it a chance. I've not investigated what the roots are like, and I've just planted 3 tree lilies. I think that's what's in there anyway. My greenhouse is a shambles. Cujo, will you give it a rest? Shush. I live on a corner and it seems to get wind just whistling around in every direction, and because the greenhouse didn't come with a base, I made my own very shoddy one with bricks, and it was slightly warped, so some of the glass was too tight and some of it was loose, and when it's been windy they've just rattled out. So I just cobbled it together with some builders. Sorry, the dog's putting me off. Shut up! Enough now. Some builders sheeting and some bubble wrap. It's keeping my seedlings alright for now, but I keep having to repair it every time it's windy. In these pots there are lilies, just oriental lilies, an orange colour, most of them I think. I was intending to empty all the pots out and start again with them, because they've got foxgloves growing in them that I don't want, and bits of ferns and things, but I'll have to wait now I think till the lilies have flowered, because they don't like being moved. So this is nothing. This is an acer I cut down yesterday from around the back, but I've just dumped it here out of the way for now. This is a Paulownia, which is being very restricted in its tub. Planted that from seed about 4 years ago. There's a clematis there, purple flowering one. In there was a passion flower, but that's died off. This is a hydrangea paniculata, something like that. It's the one that gets, its flowers are white and then graduate towards pink. This is a wild rowan tree, which I need to keep in check, but I do like it for its berries. It's food for the birds, isn't it? I think. Do they eat them? I like it anyway. Right, I'll show you what I've got growing in my greenhouse. There's a mess. It's been a bit of a dumping ground on the left hand side there. Okay, in the greenhouse, let's start at the top. Cauliflowers, sprouts, these are all for the allotment obviously, broccoli, calabrese, sunflowers, giant ones, on the second shelf. This actually is just shelving out of a large van. My husband works for a van company. Swedes, celeriac, there's cardoons and some broccoli that went really leggy and went over in there. Lettuces, there's 3 different types in here, and only the year-round one has done well in germinating really. I've got Paris Island cos and what's this? and Lakeland. What's that? Oh, that's a bit of my Lewisia. I pulled a bit off because the rest of the plant looked like it was rotting, so I'll give that a chance to root. This is a fig plant. I bought another one from Wilko's just in case my large one that's just outside the greenhouse, just in case that had rotted in the winter, but it looks okay, touch wood. These are some cuttings of me strawberry tree which rotted last year when I tried it, so I'm having another go, but they don't look like they're rotting, but there's nothing much happening. I bought some more Acidanthera bulbs this year because I forgot to take them out of the pots early enough and they just rotted. Every year I've bought these and I just always forget about them. I think that's a dead passion flower behind. Leeks, cabbage, purple sprouting broccoli, some more sunflowers that my son had planted, cauliflowers, beetroot boltardi, dianthus that I didn't pot on, so just a straggly mess. And this is a pineapple that I bought from the supermarket and cut the top off, and it was so warm in here it rooted quite fast, but I forgot about it and it's rotted. I'll give that another go though, because it was fun to try. And that was a geranium. It's still solid at the bottom, but so I'm giving it a chance, but possibly it's dead. And we've got some amaranthus at the back there. I've planted that before as just for an ornamental value, but apparently you can use the seeds and the leaves, I think, in cooking. You can at least use the seeds. I'll have to recheck about the leaves. Cosmos. I did take some cosmos up to the allotment and planted it, so these are kind of spur. Kale, Nero di Toscana or something like that. I know what I mean when I look at the packet, but so I've done some a different kind of kale as well. These are more of the Acidanthera bulbs. Pumpkin charmant, however you pronounce it. I've got some more begonia corms because, again, well, no, actually, I did bring them in the greenhouse and they just rotted anyway because it was so cold and wet in here. An agapanthus, I think I lost one of those, so I bought another one. I've got a greenhouse within a greenhouse because this is about the 4th or 5th one I've had of these, and if I leave it outside it just gets blown about and just gets smashed to bits. So next door gave me this, so I thought, well, at least my greenhouse being the state it is, anything that gets put in here should be okay. So we'll have a look in there now. Okay, parsnips. I've done a second sowing of these because my first sowing they just didn't germinate. They're still in date. I think on the packet it says year 2024, but I've just got one up to now. Oh, is it? No, that's just a weed. One lonely little parsnip. I know they can be a bit erratic, but this is ridiculous. I didn't have this last year. Cucumbers that I'd started indoors, just wrapped in some blue roll tissue paper on top of me little chick brooder because it was lovely and warm. But even though I planted them in here, I don't think they've all done well. I'm not really that lucky with cucumbers, to be honest. Sweet corn, again I've planted some more in the gaps. One or two of them got eaten by slugs or something, and you know. Asparagus peas. I wasn't that impressed with them last year, but I think On the allotment I planted them straight in, and my ground is really stony and not very good, and I didn't put any manure down, and I couldn't afford loads of compost, so they were like really tiny, but I think they're supposed to be quite big, like a pea plant. I'm not sure, but I'm going to give them loads of manure this year and see how they do. Got a loofah at the back there, 2 loofahs at the back. Little baby canna. Oh, this is my Lewis here. It's got beautiful bright pink flowers on it. See, it looks a bit. I tried to cut all the rot away, but it just seems to be continuing to rot. Its roots do look okay though. I'll give it a chance. There's a lemon in there, which I sowed from just a lemon pip from a shop bought lemon. Dwarf curly kale. I need to get these out to the allotment really. Spinach in there. I forget. Oh, peanut. Just a normal shelled de-shelled peanut. Giant pumpkin. Oh no, I don't know. Oh yeah, they're all big gourds, I think. I had a big gourd that was drying out, and it was taking forever, so I wanted the seeds out of it, so I got impatient and cut it open, but 1 or 2 of them were already sprouting inside, so I've planted them up at the end of March, because I think you're only supposed to sow them in April, aren't you? But I thought, well, if they're sprouting inside the plant, what can you do? Not inside the plant, inside the drying gourd, because you're supposed to dry them and wait till they start rattling with the seeds, but they've been there for months and months, and they were just still quite heavy, and obviously still wet inside. Oh, more giant pumpkins, and there. Dahlias. I lost all my dahlias, I think, so I bought some more. A ginger lily that I couldn't get it to sprout at all last year. It just stayed as the rhizome. But it still felt okay, so I've just stuck it in a load of compost and manure again. Cannas that I've brought in. I felt down and they feel okay, so I'm hoping they'll come back up. Acidanthus again. What is this? I forget what it is, but I keep bringing that in. This down here is a pineapple sage, and when you rub the leaves, if it's still alive, when you rub the leaves, when it's got some, it smells really strong of pineapple. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I'm not sure if that's gone. It may have. It doesn't look very healthy there at the bottom. Oh, wait a minute. No, I thought it was green then, but it's not. It's just me. So outside of my greenhouse I have my big fig. It did get a couple of fruits on it one year, but they got to a certain size and dropped off. They didn't ripen fully, but fingers crossed it's survived the winter. It needs repotting really, or something, planting somewhere else, because it's been squashed in with tulips and a fern and this thing, which I'm not even going to pronounce. I keep getting the name wrong. Next to that I have zebra grass and black grass in a pot. And it's got some rogue poppies and foxglove that need pulling out of there. This area is a bit messy really, because I keep just dumping plants that have been cuttings and then I don't know what to do with them. There's a big fuchsia at the back there. There's a St John's wort that I keep trying to cut down. This eucalyptus, I was going to try and get rid of it, but because when I first planted it, it got blown, and that's its trunk there. And I cut it right back, but it sprouted again. But I've seen enormous ones of these, so I'm going to try and keep it in check, and I'm going to use the leaves this time, I think, to try and extract some oil. I've got one of those distilling pans that you can use to extract oil off plants, so I'm going to give that a go, I think. This is a Callistemon bottle brush. It's a yellow one. In the back, over there near that dead tree fern, there was a red one, but I think that might have died this winter. So I've cut it right down, and I'll give it a chance to sprout again. But I also did take some seed pods off, and I didn't expect them to germinate. I didn't expect them to... Could you just shut up? I didn't expect them to still be alive, given that the tree itself's died. But they have germinated. They're like really the tiniest little seedlings you've ever seen. So I'm either going to be surprised by this one at the back sprouting again, or I'm going to be starting from scratch. There's a daylily there that's yellow when it has a dark maroon centre. There may be an agapanthus just round the back of it. There's a red hot polka just at the back. Orange crocosmias. There's a hibiscus that's never flowered. I've had it for at least 7 years. I've never had one single flower on it. This is its third position. I probably shouldn't keep trying to move it, but I think it's supposed to have purple flowers on it. And behind that there's a dead plum tree. Its trunk cracked all the way down the centre. But to be honest, it never gave good plums anyway. They always used to split. And there's a pot here with a tree lily in it. And I've been waiting for the daffodils to die down to tip it all out and try and sort it out. So I'll get on with that this week. Apologies for the noise interference. I think there's a tree lily in there as well that I thought that had died off because that didn't come up last year. I don't know if I'm pointing in the right place. But maybe it just got eaten by slugs and just didn't get a chance. There's an azalea here, a Nelly Moser clematis. I think it's a Nelly Moser or something very similar. Anyway, it has huge gorgeous pink flowers on it. And there's like creeping jenny, lily of the valley. There's arum italicum, all growing in here as well. These, I don't know what they are, I can't remember. I think I do remember now planting them last year, but I'd forgotten, and then when they've come up this time I thought, oh, they're gladioli of some sort, but they've got little flowers low down growing on them, so I'm not sure what they are, so that'll be a surprise. Anybody any idea? I have got an app on my phone called Picture This, which is usually really good at identifying plants, but I don't have to just be surprised. So that area at the back I originally wanted as a woodland before I decided to do the garden as more tropical, because our old dog was buried there when she was put to sleep. Yeah, our old dog was put to sleep, and she used to love going in the woods, so that's why I wanted it like that. But at this time of year it does look like woodlandy, but then I plant things in pots, and it goes from all these bluey colours of the muscari and the bluebell. Unfortunately they're not English bluebells, those. We inherited them with the house, kind of, in the Spanish ones. And there's dog's tooth violet at the back there. I love the little nodding flowers on the violet. So as I come round, that was a cordyline a variegated one that rotted at the top this winter. I'd had that for quite a few years. So I've chopped it, and I'm hoping that it'll sprout again from the bottom. The same as with this normal green one that rotted at the top. That had gotten quite tall. I've had that one for quite a long time as well, and that had all rotted. It's actually got orange like fungus at the bottom. It's had more than that, but it seems to have dried off a little bit. I didn't know if to scrape it off or not, but I'm hoping that'll sprout back anyway, and I've covered it for a little bit of protection. There's pineapple lilies in here as well. There's a big one there, and then there was a smaller kind that was like had a pinkish tinge to it as well, which I'm hoping is under there. I chucked a load of bunny manure on top of all this area, so I can't see it coming up, but it's deeper down than that one there. This heuchera, I absolutely love this because of its limey green colour. Now I'm trying to think if there's any other hidden gems in there. I do get wild garlic in this area. I spent hours and hours trying to remove it all last year, but the seedlings of that, like the bulbs are so tiny. I still find it now, so I just have to rub the leaves because I find it looks quite similar to the lily of the valley. So I rub the leaves and see if it smells like garlic, but I do like it in a proper woodland, but I don't want to smell garlic all over my garden, and it's really strong. So unfortunately I keep getting this nettle here. I don't mind a few weeds because I will use some of them for making tinctures and teas and things like that, so I'll probably do that with this. But I actually don't like nettle tea. I have tried it shop bought in tea bags before, and I have to mix it with a mint tea bag as well because I just find it's disgusting. I think there's bulbs in here called Tigridia or something. They're like a lily with spots. I'll have to check the name of that though. Can't quite remember right now. There's gladioli in those two pots there. I normally put my cannas out in that space as well. Peony that's never flowered. I had one in the front that I've removed from the front garden and put in a pot. So I've probably prevented that from flowering this year as well by mauling with it, but this is getting quite a size now, so it should start flowering soon, shortly. It's actually it's what, a split from the one in the front actually. There's hops at the back there. I have to watch that it doesn't grow up the apple and pear tree of next door, and my Acer here that I'm part way through chopping, but it's starting to leaf up, so I don't know if to let it leaf up now and chop it again, that last little branch there. Now there's a dead tree fern there. That only cost me £50 about between 10 and 12 years ago, I would say. And I have one now that's only a third of the size and cost me £75. So that was, I should have looked after it properly. It's my own stupid fault. So here at the back there's honeysuckle growing up this dead tree trunk, and there's clematis twined in that as well. There are hellebores, Persicaria red dragon there at the back. And there's loads of red Crocosmia lucifer all over here as well. And a fern. There's another different type of fern there, but I don't know the name, but I absolutely love that one. I do have creeping plants in all this area as well. There's creeping jenny. There's mind your own business. I'm not being rude, that's what it's called. There's a couple of different ones that are not establishing very well, but they're still there. Oh, I love my little My little ornament. We call him Wilson. Even when you're having a bad day and you look through the kitchen window and I can see him, he cheers me up. He's looking a bit grotty now, but his teeth are still nicer than mine. Got my trail camera out because we keep getting a heron keep visiting us, and he actually took one of my big koi out of the pond the other week, but it was too big for him to eat and he just left it on the floor there. It was too late to save it. There was blood coming from its gills and what have you, so yeah, I'd had that fish for about 20 years and all, gutting. Especially when I wouldn't have minded if the heron had had a good meal, but it was such a waste. So here I've got a delphinium, a Brunnera Jack Frost, there's Burr's Breeches at the back there, a couple of little Tetrapanax that were runners from my bigger one at the other side of the pond. A Gunnera that I want it to grow up in bigger leaves, but it keeps spreading rather than that. I don't know what remedy there is to that. Maybe just make sure it's more wet. I'm not sure. There are hostas in here. Ligularia, had I already said that? And there's, what's it called? A Fritillaria here that I bought from Dunham Massey National Trust place a few weeks ago. I did used to have an orange one that was in a pot with something else and it just got swamped out and stopped coming up. But I've got that cream one now. I'll have to plant it somewhere proper though so I don't lose it. There's a bit of a cherry tree at the back. Goat's Beard, which is like a huge, looks like a huge astilbe. Variegated Fatsia. And there's a Calla Lily, just the white one, and there's a smaller yellow one that may not come up. It's not quite as hardy as the white one, I think, so I might have lost that. Purple Clematis at the back. There's some more Crocosmia Lucifer. These, I don't know if they're snowdrops or snowflakes. My mother-in-law bought me those years ago. And I swear I planted them 2.5 foot that way. They keep seeming to move that way towards the tree. I suppose they're just travelling to where they want to be. There's another Fatsia. There's actually a kiwi and a bamboo at the back and 2 willows that I have to keep in check. I have taken cuttings of the kiwi. And hopefully they'll root and I can put one at the allotment but keep it in check because it is a bit of a thug. It just grows too big and I can't let it do it here because it keeps going into next doors. So, and there's hostas and flag iris there. This was an absolute shock what I found last week when I was looking through the garden. This, I think, is a voodoo lily, and if it is, it's a miracle because I haven't seen this plant come up for 5 years, roughly. I did buy is it a rhizome? And I thought it had completely rotted through its first winter. So I haven't ever seen it, never spotted it. I don't know if it's just a case of it's been covered or got chewed or whatever, but it's an absolute miracle because it's not even hardy. So given what I've lost plant-wise through this winter, and that, if it's the voodoo lily, is still alive. I'm sure it is. I used that app and that's what it identified it as. It said it could have. I also have some mint growing in the water, just normal mint. What else? There's an umbrella plant in that pot at the back as well, that brownish pot. I can't remember what name it is offhand, but it gets huge. That gets huge leaves as well. There's an astilbe there. I need to sort the waterfall out. I'm a bit reluctant to switch it on, given the price of electric at the minute. Well, it's only going to keep rising, isn't it? But the fish do need it because I can't put any oxygenating plants in because they just eat them. I've tried even protecting them by putting a cage around and they just die off. So I've got Boogie in here, and there's some Nerine, Bourdonnais. The one that's there flowered really well last year, and there's one further over there that hasn't ever flowered. It just gets the leaves, but with any luck it'll get a bit bigger and better. There's a Phormium there that is a variegated one originally, but it's reverted to green. There's my large Tetrapanax, and there are a couple of little runners with little baby ones here and there. I will dig them up and pot them on. One of my friends wants one or two, so they'll have a new home. It's my Trachycarpus. I've got a couple of baby ones growing in the house that have grown from seed. What else? I've got a Clematis at the back there, purple one. It's like a double flowered, it's like frilly in the middle. I don't know what kind though, I forget. Once I've took the labels off, that's it. I forgot. There was a begonia in there, but that rotted off. That fuchsia in there is an Annabelle, so that's probably died as well, because I don't think they're hardy. I did put it somewhere sheltered, but not sheltered enough. There's a hosta at the back there as well. I did have my Agapanthus in a pot and some dahlias there, but they're gone. This is a Coronilla. It smells really strongly scented at the minute. It smells absolutely beautiful. There's some stocks there. I'd grown some the other year and it self-seeds. I'm not sure if I want it or not. I'm not sure if it quite fits in. I'll pull some of it up though and just leave clumps maybe. This was my Acer that got cut down. It wasn't even winter and all the leaves just curled up and dropped off, and then all the bark started looking really dry, so I'm not sure why that is. But I'm hoping it might resprout from the bottom, because my bigger one I thought was killed by having my pet rabbits running around years and years ago, and I thought they'd eaten the roots so much that it had died, but that came back, so there's hope yet. There's a Hemerocallis there that I bought the other day. I've tried to protect it a little bit, just warm the soil up. It's like a purpley colour with yellow, but I don't know, I've never had one before, so that'll be nice when that comes up. A Butylon there, which has survived the winter. I was worried that it wouldn't. There's a lantern tree there. It's got a hookery or something like that. And there's an iris there, purple one. A hydrangea. Woodland sage. I bought that because the green on it was so bright. I bought it from, I think that was from Ambleside, the garden centre in Ambleside, but it keeps trying to revert, I think, to dark green. I don't know, I've snipped bits off anyway. I forget what this is called. It's a ground covering plant. Is it Lamium or something like that? Oh, I saw this somewhere and I'd never seen it before. I don't know why, because it's a weed. I stupidly planted it thinking, oh, isn't it pretty, but it spreads everywhere. I suppose a weed's just a plant growing in the wrong place, but it's hard to keep on top of. Same as the wild garlic. What a stupid idea. I'm full of those. These are my ladies. These are 5 weeks old now. They'll be 6 weeks this weekend. So they're fully feathered. So the last 2 or 3 nights they've been sleeping in the coop because they were kicking off at me gathering them up to take them back in and put them in the brooder. But it's warm today anyway, so there's 8 hens and a cockerel in there. I'm only keeping 5 hens, and 3 hens are going to the allotment. It's a community allotment. I home educate my son, so it's part of a group for that. I might give him some corn actually. They're all looking expectant. They're comical. I've not really got names for them yet. Apart from that one, that's Pearl. And there's Tika. I think that's Tika over there. The Tika and the cockle look very similar. I'm just going off the tail actually. Oh, there's the other one. There's my tree fern that's just been put outside a couple of weeks ago. I always bring it into the house in winter, but it's hard to water it because all the water runs out the bottom. And there's a couple of ferns to soften the seating area, which is a bit rough, but we had nothing else. We're not, you know, you've got to prioritise what you spend your money on anyway. The bits of flags were there, so that's what I've used. But it just softens it with all the ferns growing over the edge. There's a Solomon seal there, a fern, forsythia. I've got a laburnum on each side, which they were in pots for ages, and I was reluctant because I don't want the seed pods landing and mixing in with all the slate. But I'll just keep on top of it, and when it's flowered I'll just snip them all off because they're toxic as well. So if the chickens were out at the time, whenever they're allowed, and not in lockdown anymore, I wouldn't want them picking at the seeds or any bit of it because it's all toxic. But I want to grow them up together in an archway so they'll meet in the middle. I know what I've got in my head anyway. There's a Kalmia there. I love the flowers on that. I saw one at Bodnant Gardens in Wales, which is a National Trust place, and they've got the flowers remind me of iced gems, you know, the little icing bit on top. So this one's never flowered yet, but I'm hoping that it will, hopefully this year. Another Fatsia. I've got tree lilies growing in there. There's a pink azalea there. That was a Hebe that was dumped, but that looks dead actually. I'm not sure what else is in there. I don't know what that is. I thought it was one of those bits of wild garlic, but it doesn't smell of garlic when I squash it. So this area has been having a revamp just last week because there was a washing line post covered in ivy, but we decided it's a blot in front of the kitchen window, so we dug it out. It just looks a bit better, all nice and clear. So we just need some more slate gravel in pots and things. I need more shade actually, because although this part of the garden's in shade till about dinner time in summer, after that it's scorching hot around the back, so I need a bit of shade for the chickens and some of my plants as well. It's like musical plant pots in summer actually, trying to move things out of the shade. So this is a rhododendron, a tetrapanax from a runner about 3 or 4 years ago. It's being restricted in a pot. I don't want to plant it in the floor here due to its runners, but hopefully that'll get some good big leaves and provide a little bit of shade. That's the peony that I moved from the front garden. That has big huge pink flowers, but it might not now it's in there. I just didn't know what to do with it, so I've dumped it in a pot. And Arbor metallicum in that. I think that's just full of bunny poo, that one, I'm not sure. So it's a bit of a work in progress, this. And there's a honeysuckle and a clematis here. A bit like the clematis here. I think this is the one that's like a Nelly Moser. It could actually be Nelly Moser, but I'm not 100%. And this one's similar, but it looks a bit smaller. So that's my back garden. I hope you've enjoyed looking around. Hopefully when I do my next tour, a bit more late spring, early summer, it'll have lots more pops of colour, reds and oranges, and things will have, you know, grown really big and leafy. So my next video, I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm planting indoors, just more stuff for the allotment and that. May do a little bit of seed sowing at the end of this video, only a little bit though. I'll be covering the allotment as well, but I'm not sure how often I'll be posting a video, maybe for once a week, but like I said, I do home educate, so obviously it's dependent on time and what I'm doing and things. So indoors I've got baby cannas, a giant pumpkin, lavender, sage, globe artichoke. These are a mixture of runner beans, dwarf French beans, loofahs, red popcorn, just other bits I'm trying to start off in that blue roll. Some are just being grown as extras to fill gaps of spaces where a seed didn't germinate or whatever. Arabica, coffee beans. I did have these on the chick brooder and they've still not sprouted. Apparently they can take a while and be erratic, but I might get my heating cable out from the loft and put them on that. And these glory lilies as well, which is a house plant. I will show you my house plants one day, and I do put them outside for a little bit in summer, sometimes somewhere sheltered, but I'll do that as a separate video another time. These are red popping corn. Germination hasn't been great on these. I've only got those 4. So, I mean, they still look fine in there, but I have, like I said, started some more in the tissue paper. This is strawberry spinach, but they don't seem to be progressing any further than this, and I've never grown it before, so I don't know if this is weed seeds or actually the strawberry spinach. If anybody knows, let me know, because I don't have to try and pot them on. They're not really at the stage of potting on, they're just going a bit leggy, but they'd be interesting to see. Here I have more cannas, and there's a little tangerine grown from a pip. Do you know what? My little lad's just said, can I give you a tip? Don't talk so like monotone. So I'm sorry if I'm talking really boring. I'm just trying to concentrate on what I need to say. So, thanks sunshine. Licorice. What were these? Oh, dwarf pomegranate. Now I have got passion flower somewhere that just won't sprout. I've got Cleome in here. I've just got one sprout in there. Oh, these are those little tiny bottle brush seedlings. See how tiny they are? The seeds are like little tiny hairs inside the actual seed pod, seed casing. Cucumbers, that's not looking very well, that one. Ginger rhizomes I've just plonked in there. They were starting to rot where I had them before, so I've not got round to sorting them properly, but I will do. 2 peanuts that I just stuffed in there to fill a gap where so I'm still laughing at my little lad with his tips. Melon, Melba, they all rotted off, so I've planted some more in there, but I don't know if they'll sprout because I did have them on the brooder originally when I first had germination from the first lot. Cayenne peppers, cherry tomatoes, strawberries, and cucumber crystal apple. I don't know what's going wrong with that one there. Yeah. So here I am with my monotone voice again. So I'm just going to plant, sow a few seeds. I'm not decided which ones yet. I've only got a little bag of compost. Bear with. I just got a little one from Dobby's. It's only a 10 litre one because I've sown so much. I need to slow it down a bit because I've nowhere to plant them out really. A lot of things, so yeah. So I've got my pots ready. I've not cleaned them, and I know you're thinking I'm asking for trouble with funguses and what have you, but I used to clean them and I just used to get trouble anyway, so now I don't bother, and usually it's fine. I find I do get damping off, but I think that's due to the fluctuations in temperature and things like that, and how much I've watered them. So anyway, so let's have a look what I'm going to sow and just decide. I have got some things like these, and I call them my, what the heck is it? Because I've collected seed of things and I don't know what the heck it is. What's that? See, if I've collected it, I must have wanted it, but I don't know what flower. They look like flower seeds to me. So I'm going to sow them and it'll just be a surprise. I've got quite a lot of seeds like that. What else? Plant pots have I got? I wanted to get some fennel done. I had the fennel herb at the allotment and I think that's totally rotted off. It was only in a pot. And I'd had it for years actually as well, so it's probably coming to the end of its life anyway. But this is the bulb one. I may do some more Cleome. Different beetroot. I've done Boltardi. Oh, got more Boltardi. What's the other one then? Yeah, the other one's. Have I not brought it through? I brought the wrong one. I meant to do. There's a darker, like a dark purple one. I can't remember what it's called. I'll go and get it in a second. Spring onions. I always start in pots indoors. But I want to get these houseplants going. I've got Black-Eyed Susan, which can go outside on a patio, but it says it's So it's usually grown as an annual. Oh, half hardy perennial. See, I like perennials, so if they can last through the winter and into a new year as a bigger, stronger plant, then I'd rather do that. So I'll probably treat it a bit as a house plant and just try that. Mimosa, that's more of a house plant really. Yeah, indoor perennial and livingstone plants. Now I've grown cactuses before and they've been very sporadic germination, so I'm expecting this to be the same, to be honest. And I got excited by the picture when I look at all those on there, and I didn't read the back. There's only actually 6 seeds in it for £3.49. So I'm a bit, you know, whatever, I'm going to get one. I might as well have bought a plant from the shop, but I'll give it a go anyway. And in this I was seeing if these are still viable. I've got some echinops that I took from my old plant when I dug it out of the front garden, because I've been clearing parts of the front garden. I took some of the seed heads off. I have got a little bit of it left, but I dug it out and put it in a pot, and it dried out most of it. I want to start some more for the allotment for the bees, because there are beehives up there. So what else I've got in there? Oh, and nasturtiums, I just put them in water to see if they'd sink or float. I'm hoping that these ones are the troika that I used to have, which are a red flower, but I do have some that were yellow with a red centre in as well. But I really liked the troika. I think it fitted in with my theme. So I'm going to just get on with some sowing now. done. My battery went dead, but all else I planted were pansies, my what the heck is it, and some more spinach, because spinach I found it does tend to bolt, and I've only got about 6 or 8 in the greenhouse growing, so I just thought I'd plant some more. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the size of the seeds in this packet. For £3.49 they were so tiny, and I don't think there were 6 seeds in it. I could only find 3. To be fair, my hands were dirty, but you could tell that they were like a tan coloured seed, if that was them. And unfortunately I do have buyer's regret for that. I just think 6 tiny seeds, £3.49, it's just not worth it. Especially seeing as they might not even germinate for a long time. I am a fan of Thompson and Morgan, and this is not a plug for them, so I'm not sponsored by anybody, but they are good quality seeds, but I'm just disappointed with this one, especially because I do not think there were 6 seeds in that packet then. And I don't even know if they were in the pot. 2 of them were. I don't, because like I said, my hands were so dirty. I tried to just hover over the pot and hopefully they're in there, but I suppose I'll never know if I don't get any germination. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you have, please like and subscribe. I don't know what I'll be filming next. It'll be some job, or it'll be up at the allotment, could be in the garden, I don't know. So I hope I've not bored you too much. Like I said, my videos aren't for advice at all. They're just more of a diary, just to see what I'm up to. And I'd love to hear from you, hear what you're planting, what you're sowing, what you're planting, what kind of garden designs you've got. Anything gardening, and house plants as well, because I'm just a plantaholic and I love them all. So bye for now.